Anybody here? Anybody here? Who knows? It's just me. No Isaac. All right, guys, we'll see if anybody joins me in the next few minutes, but welcome to Metro South Parkour and Freerunning, Level 2. This is our intermediate parkour class, and we're going to try to get this to go live, but let's see. Live on YouTube. My last class did not go live, so I'm recording this ahead of time because it's not letting me do it. Okay, so this will be recording afterward. This is recording and I will upload it afterwards. It's pretty much all I can do. Yeah, cool. So let's get started. It's just me in the room and it's just you watching this and nobody else is here. So we're gonna do a quick little back shoulder roll review. So we need lots of space. And the other thing we're gonna try is a Kip-Up. Now a Kip-Up is a move that if it doesn't go well, can kind of hurt if we're on a hard surface, just because our bum will hit the ground or our feet will hit the ground kind of hard. So we definitely want something soft to try this on, all right? Also, if you have a hill and we can go downhill, so I'll explain that when we get there, that will be a little bit easier so you can go outside and use a hill. If you have a panel mat, I recommend doing it on a panel mat. It can't be too soft of an object because we're also gonna have to push with our hands. Anyways, let's get going. We're gonna do a very quick warm up, get our bodies moving. So, first things first, my favorite, your favorite, and everyone's favorite, jumping jacks. Faster, faster, faster. Woo! And run in place. And kick your butt. And high knees. And jumping jacks. All right, swing your arms, big circles. Get our shoulders moving. A little bit more. Switch directions. And swing your arms across the front. Very nice, very nice. And twist. All right, next we're gonna do leg kicks. So you're gonna take one leg, kick it up as high as you can. Try to have a nice straight leg. We're gonna do 5 on one leg. And then we're gonna do 5 on the other leg. Nice and straight leg, kicking it up. Woo. Yeah. And then we're gonna do leg kicks behind us. So we're gonna kick out and throw our arms in front. Step forward, kick out. Boom, our back leg is gonna try to stay straight. 5 on one leg, and then switch to the other leg. Step forward, lift your arms and kick. Lift and kick. I'm secretly training you guys how to do Webster's. Boom. Cool. All right, next, roll your wrists, because you're gonna need it. And do the wave. Switch the direction of the wave. And shake them out. All right, roll out your neck, big circles. We're doing the back shoulder roll, so we need to make sure that we roll out our neck. And shoulders moving in circles. All right, and next I want you to roll out your ankle on the ground. So something like this. We're just gonna roll it around and get it warmed up. We don't want to hurt our ankles today. Switch to the other one. Roll into that out. Just getting it warmed up. All right. Let's do 5 calf raises. Nice. Make sure those legs are warmed up. And then we'll do 5 squats coming down and back up, down and back up, down, up, down, up, and down, and up. And we are gonna do one last thing. That's right, I need to do this. For the Kip-Up, we're gonna need to make sure that we are stretched in our hips in this direction. So, seal stretch, push up high, look towards the ceiling. Very nice, very nice. And cat stretch. Cool, come on up, roll out your wrists. And let's get started. Okay, so to warm up for our back shoulder roll, you have to do 3 shoulder rolls going forwards. You guys should know how to do this. You are an intermediate level class. But remember, hands are touching the ground. We're rolling across our shoulder, keeping our head away from the floor and trying to come up in this cross-legged sitting position. And that's how we're going to stand up. But then also it's going to help us roll over backwards, okay? So step number 1 to remember how to do your back shoulder roll is to do a shoulder roll going forwards to a seated position, and then you're going to roll back on the exact same spot on your back. So you just felt the ground go across your shoulder, down your back to your opposite hip. So we're going to go backwards on that. We're going to go opposite hip to our back to our shoulder, okay? So you can even just do a few rock and rolls going back to the side and back up, back to the side and back up. And if you feel like you've got it, then we can just roll it back over, okay? Now, a really important thing to do with the back shoulder roll is to make sure we're doing it with enough speed. But with speed comes a little bit more risk of bonking our noggin. Your goal is to keep your head away from the ground. If you watch me do mine, my head does not go near the ground even a little bit, okay? I mean, it does a little bit, but not really, okay? It's not at risk. So let's try a few back shoulder rolls from our rock and rolls, or if you want, you can do forward roll and then sit down right at the end, but then immediately roll backwards, which looks like this. Rolling forwards, stay seated, roll back, okay? The only reason you're going to get stuck, so if you're rolling and you're getting stuck here, is because you're not going with enough speed, all right? You must put some chutzpah, or put a little mustard on it, or give it the gas, or give it the beans. Put a little elbow grease. No, that's not the right one. Anyways, you got to go with a little bit of effort and energy rolling backwards so that you can get your roll all the way over to your feet, okay? So go ahead, try this a few times. I need you guys to be really familiar with this move because it is for safety, all right? Once we do that, I'm just going to change the angle here so that I stop running into my bookcase. Once we do that, we need to do our shoulder roll, our backward shoulder roll from a standing position. So there's 2 things you can do. You can lower down and then drop to your butt, rolling straight backwards. And once you start rolling, you're going to tilt your feet to the side so that you get to your shoulder. So it'll be like you're rolling straight back, but then your feet go off to the side. Or if you want, you could even drop down to one knee, which would put this hip with the bent knee on the ground first, which is going to send us off at an angle to start, okay? I think I actually want this leg. Yeah, sorry. So I'm gonna drop down. If I'm gonna go over my right shoulder, I'm gonna drop my left leg to the floor, and then it puts me in the right trajectory, okay? So we need to do our back shoulder roll from standing, going down and pushing over, okay? Dropping down and pushing over. Cool? Got it? So go ahead, try that, guys. You guys need to know this move. It's super important because it's going to teach us safe ways to fall over backwards without getting hurt, okay? Yeah, cool. That is our back shoulder roll review. If you need to review it a little bit more, please do that because it never hurts to practice more unless you get hurt practicing. Just kidding. Okay. Like I said, we're going to start the Kip-Up. The Kip-Up is a hard move. Let me change this angle here. The Kip-Up is a difficult move to do, so do not be frustrated if you cannot do it. And also, it just takes a lot of practice, okay? And it also looks kind of funny, but it also looks kind of cool. Now, when I do one, you're going to recognize it. You've probably seen it in just about any action movie where there's somebody that fights kind of with a martial arts style, whether it be kung fu or karate or even like taekwondo. Like, it's not a taekwondo move at all, but you know, if they had somebody in there that was fighting for them, like a stunt double, they'd be like, can you do that thing where you fall over on the ground but then you stand back up by like launching yourself in the air? And what they're talking about is the Kip-Up, okay? And the Kip-Up can be done in a simple way, and then we can make it look really flashy. I have to be fully warmed up to make it look really flashy, so I will try my best, but I will make it to my feet, okay? So the idea is you're in a fight, and you get knocked to the ground. Ooh. Oh man, how are you gonna get out without looking like you're like, oh, I made it to my feet, right? How do you get up in the coolest way possible? You do a Kip-Up. So you've been knocked to the ground by your side flip or your back flip, or you're in a superhero fight and you need to get up. Here's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna do the Kip-Up. Okay, let me try that again. Here we go. Very cool. So let me explain a little bit how it's working, and then you guys can try it. All right, so starting on your back or on your bum, you're gonna roll backwards to here, all right? And what I mean by here is your hands are able to touch the ground. Your feet are going way over your head and your legs are straight, okay? When we do the Kip-Up on the ground, you're gonna be kicking your feet up towards the ceiling into a straight body position. So that means your hips go from bent to straight, all right? Now this is the same motion as a bar kip. So if anybody here does gymnastics, or they have a sibling that does gymnastics, and they need to know how to do a bar kip, this is the same motion. We're here, and then our hips come up. The only difference with a bar kip is that our arms aren't here by our ears, they're up above our head, and then they come to our hips. For this one, when our hips come up, we're gonna be pushing off the ground and driving our heels up to the ceiling. Now, once our heels get to the ceiling, and we're up in this straight body position, so I'll basically be like this, but going towards the ground, or going towards the ceiling, I'm gonna push with my arms. As I push with my arms, I need to arch. So that means I'm gonna push my hips open, okay? And this is where the Kip-Up gets really complicated, okay? You kick your feet up towards the ceiling, but then once your feet are going up, you have to push your hips higher than your feet. So your feet are going up. Let me get an example here. Hold on. Okay. This is really maybe the best way to describe it. So this is you. You are 2 pens. You're laying on the ground. You're going to pike over your head. You then kick your feet up to the ceiling. Boom! When you do that, what you're doing is you're bending at your hips. When your hips get straight, your feet have reached the maximum height they can reach. That is when you start to push with your arms, or sorry, when you kick your feet, you're going to start pushing with your arms. So you're kicking your feet up, opening up to a straight body, and pushing with your arms. When your feet get straight, they can't really go much higher. So what you need to do is you want to now, if we want to end up standing, is we want to bend our hips forwards so we're arching our back to try to get our hips to go higher than our feet. Okay, so check it out. This little joint right here is our hips. You kick your feet up high. Your hips go from piked to straight, push past straight to arch, and they're going up. Okay, so if you look, ready? Hold on, this light is too bright. Okay, here you are. This is not working. Hold on, bear with me here. Here you are on the ground, okay? Your feet roll backwards over your head. They then push up to the ceiling and your hips come straight. Your hips, look, your hips have gone from the ground and they go up. Then when your feet go to the maximum, they can't go any higher, so they're going to start coming down again. Your hips have to keep trying to go up, okay? And when your hips keep trying to go up, what's going to happen is you're going to arch. Your hips are still rising and your feet are coming down. You're arching, arching, arching. And when your hips are going up, guess what happens to your chest and your head, which is down this end by my nose, right? Your chest and your head is going to start to come up. So now our feet have gone all the way to the ceiling. Our hips are still trying to go to the ceiling, but our feet are on their way down and our head joins our hips and boom, we land up on our feet. Now I know that was really confusing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, so where can you try this before I go further? You can try this anywhere soft, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up falling and landing on your butt a whole bunch like this. Ready? I got a nice soft pillow here. I will go back and I'm going to keep falling on my butt and my back, okay? So anywhere soft that you can do that on, this is where you're going to try it. So what I'm going to do now for you is I'm going to attempt to see if this works. Ready? Hold on. We are going to film a slow motion video on my cell phone, and then I'm going to show you that slow motion video. Now, if you guys haven't watched them, here's a little self-promotion here. I have been making YouTube tutorials for you guys. And these YouTube tutorials are really in-depth and detailed, and they have lots and lots of slow motion in them. And the reason why slow motion is so important is because as a coach, when I'm in the gym, I'm watching you do something and I see what happens, and then I can tell you what to do differently. When you're home, you don't have me to be like, this is what needs to happen differently. So instead, if you have my instructions plus a really slow motion video of me doing it, you're going to be like, oh, that's what's happening. Look, right there. You can see his hips rising, okay? So let's see if I can do this correctly. I have my phone set up. Bear with me here. I'm going to do the Kip-Up, and I'm going to try my absolute hardest to exaggerate the motion, so that way you guys can see in the slow motion clip what it's supposed to look like. Are you ready? Am I ready? Who knows? Here we go. Rolling back, feet pike over my head, kick my feet to the ceiling, push my hips higher. Your hips can never fall lower than they are. So what does that mean? They're on the floor already. They need to always be going up. If they start to fall down, so if I start to kick and then my hips go up but then fall back down, guess what happens? I fall. All right? Hips are always on the rise. Here we go. Kip-Up action in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, let's review the tape. Okay? So let's see if this works. Let me edit the slow motion. Make sure that everything is in slow motion. Done. Okay. Ah, oh, yes, okay, perfect. All right, here we go. We're rolling backwards. We drive our heels to the ceiling. We push and lift our hips up. We keep arching, keep trying to lift my hips, keep trying to lift my hips. And I keep trying to lift my hips at the end there too, okay? So I didn't just try to sit down. So right here, if I sit down, that means drop my butt to the floor. Guess what happens? I'm gonna drop to my butt down and I'm gonna fall. Now our urge, when we're in that position, like this, is to get our chest forward by bending at our hips and getting our chest forward. But if you're not far enough up and you're here like this and you bend your chest forwards, you fall backwards. So instead, keep pushing to get yourself up. And this is a good way to tell how to do that. So lay back on your couch like this with your feet off and try to lift by pushing your hips forward, okay? So let me show that again. This lovely, lovely learning tool here of filming on an iPhone. Oh, it's too bright now. Hold on, let me turn down the brightness. Filming on an iPhone and then playing it back in slow motion for you guys. All right. So, not the best example, but you know, it works. I roll backwards. I'm trying to keep my legs kind of straight. They go up over my head. My hip flips up a little bit, and look, they keep lifting. They never went back down. And I'm still lifting, I'm on my toes, and I'm there, okay? So I can't express how important that hip lift is, right? So look, hips are on the ground. Do you see? When I roll backwards, they lift up off the ground. But look, they never go lower. They only go up, 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 up. And then right there, they start to go down. But because I kept trying to push them up, I was able to get to my feet. If I had let them drop like they wanted to, I would have fallen on my butt. Okay? Kip-Up. Look at the, next let's look at the arm push. So I'm here, I start to kick, and my arms push, and there I'm like almost in a bridge, but I'm actually in the air entirely, and I get my feet down underneath me, and boom. Now, what could I have done to do this better? I could have kept my legs straighter, which would have given me more lift, and then I would have been able to push my hips even harder, okay? It's all about the change in shape. When we bend, we actually lose so much power, all right? There's my, again, I feel like these live streams are just tutorials, which is why I'm making tutorials of things that I've already live streamed, because I think the tutorials are probably more useful for you than this. So I will make a Kip-Up tutorial, but I'm gonna have to practice it a whole lot because it's embarrassingly not that great. And I don't want to put that out on the internet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you were able to find it informational. I'm sorry nobody joined the class and it was kind of like this weird tutorial thing. Maybe you like these better. I don't know, but join me for Zoom classes coming forward in the future. And also this is going to be delayed because the internet doesn't work and it doesn't want me to live stream to YouTube, but it is recording, so I will upload it later. So when you're watching this, it's going to be, yeah. All right, cool. Awesome. Thank you. This has been Parkour Level 2 intermediate class. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Today's Thursday already. Isn't that crazy?